Hello learners, welcome to my channel and today we are going to learn ninth class first chapter of SST, what is democracy and why democracy. So I would suggest to keep a notebook and a pen handy because during this session you need to note down some important facts. So here we see many opinions about why we have to define democracy, why do we need a definition, or is it correct to know example first and then meaning of that term. So their ma'am says that we use so many things like pen, love, air. We know the actual meaning, but we don't know the definition. So it's not always necessary to know each and everything's definition first uh, and then their meaning. So one of the students says that democracy comes from a Greek word demokratia, which means demos means people and kratia means rule. So democracy is basically ruled by the people. So here again one opinion says that not always the origin remains tied to its meaning. Like originally we have used computers for computing, but now it is not the case. Hardly anyone would use computers for computing. So it's all about evolving and redefining its meaning, and it has broader aspect, not just a definition can make justice to that particular word. And the famous quotation, famous definition of democracy is by Abraham Lincoln, which is written here. Democracy is government of the people, by the people, and for the people. So learners keep that in mind. Family. Okay, so these are the things which make which broadens our understanding level about democracy. So let's go ahead. On the page 4th, we will discuss features of democracy. Okay, democracy is a form of government in which the rulers are elected by the people. Okay, so first they are elected, and by whom? By the people. Okay, so first we see who are the rulers. Rulers, what kind of election, who are the people, and finally what kind of a form of government is a democracy. So we'll try to find out all these questions in this chapter or later on. So major decisions by elected leaders. So if I give you a gist of this paragraph, so the story is here that Parvez Musharraf, the former Pakistani president, he himself proclaimed himself a president by a military coup. He overthrew the previous government and self-selected himself as their president, and later on, to get validation, he performed referendum or public poll, you can say. But those practices, those malpractices and fraud is not seen in real democracy. Do you understand? So here we see that in a democratic country, you are not going to conduct referendums and such fraud elections to get validation from other countries or even their own country. So there are some other details of when he issued legal framework, and he dismissed national and provincial assemblies. Elections were held to the national and provincial assembly, but they have no powers. Okay, all the power remained in the hands of self-proclaimed president, that is General Parvez Musharraf. So this is one example of not so democratic country, and we see other example here. Free and fair electoral competition. So here I'll give you a gist of this paragraph. So here China and Mexico. So here in this paragraph, it is mentioned about free and fair electoral competition, which is not in the case of China and Mexico. If I give you a gist of this paragraph, okay. So in China, there is only one influence of Communist Party, Chinese Communist Party, and in Mexico, we can see it's only PRI. Let me turn the page. Here. So people don't get choices. People have very limited choices in which they have to elect someone. So this is also not a very good sign of democracy. So from these examples, we come to know that a democracy must be based on a free and fair election. As you can see here, democracy must be based on a free and fair elections where those currently in power have a fair chance of losing. Okay, it's not like that if I'm on the power chair, either I or my friend will have the power chair and it will toss between me and my friend. Okay, it it is it should be open for all. And on the next paragraph, we see that one person, one vote, one value. Why is it important? Because as you can see here, those examples, until 2015 in Saudi Arabia, women didn't have the right to vote. Estonia has made its citizenship rule in such a way that people belonging to Russian minority find it difficult to get the right to vote. In Fiji, the electoral system is such that the vote of an indigenous Fiji has more value that of an Indian Fijian. So it means in a democracy, each adult citizen must have one vote and each vote must have one value. So these three examples did not fulfill this condition. So in this paragraph, we see the importance of rule of law and respect for rights in democracy. As it is written here, Zimbabwe attained independence from white minority rule in 1980. Since then, the country has been ruled by ZANU-PF, the party that led the freedom struggle. Okay, its leader Robert Mugabe ruled the country since independence. Elections were held regularly and always won by ZANU-PF. President Mugabe was popular, but also used unfair practices in elections. Over the year, its government changed the constitution several times, and to increase his power and make him less accountable, opposition party workers were harassed and their meeting disrupted. Public protest and demonstration against the government were declared illegal. So these means are not practiced in a real democratic country. Okay, although he was forced out of office in 2017, the example of Zimbabwe shows that the popular approval of the rulers is necessary in a democracy, but it is not sufficient. Okay, and there should be sufficient room for normal political activity, including political opposition, in the period before election. This requires that the state should respect some basic rights of the citizens. So we can't say this requires that the state should respect some basic rights of the citizens. So we cannot say that only fair elections are enough for a good democracy, but also citizens' rights and right to free speech is also very important. And now both these aspects gives us the fourth and the final feature of democracy, that a democratic government rules within limits set by constitutional law and citizens' right. Okay, summary. What is summary here? That democracy is a form of government in which the rulers are elected by the people. So elected by the people. Features of democracy as a form of government. So we'll see some other features as well. Rulers elected by the people take all the major decisions, as we saw in Pakistani's government, where it's only army or military rule that has main power, not their elected representatives. And second is elections offer a choice and fair opportunity to the people to change the current rulers. Okay, it's not like China and Mexico that has major influence on election commission or those representatives who were elected. So, and third one, this choice and opportunity is available to all the people on an equal basis. Okay, and fourth is the exercise of this choice leads to a government limited by basic rules of the constitution and citizens' rights, as we saw in Zimbabwe's example. we are here discussing about arguments against democracy, and we'll see arguments for democracy. Okay, it means merits and demerits for democracy. So, argument for democracy is against democracy, sorry, is leaders keep changing in a democracy. This leads to instability. Democracy is all about political competition and power play. Yeah, this is true in a sense. There is no scope for morality. So many people have to be considered in democracy that it leads to delay. Okay, elected leaders do not know the best interest of the people. It leads to bad decision. Democracy leads to corruption, for it is based on electoral competition. Ordinary people don't know what is good for them. They should not decide anything. Some people say, if someone doesn't know what is good or bad for him, how can he choose anyone to decide what is best policy for him? So that are the demerits of democracy. And so clearly, democracy is not a magical solution for all the problems. It has not ended poverty in our country and in other parts of the world. Democracy as a form of government only ensures that people take their own decisions. This doesn't guarantee that the decisions will be good. People can make mistake. Involving the people in these decisions does lead to delay in decision making. It is also true that democracy leads to frequent changes in leadership. So these are the demerits of democracy. An argument for democracy means merits of democracy. So we'll see an example again. China's famine of 1958 to 1961 was the world's recorded famine in world history. Nearly 3 crore people died in this famine. During those days, India's economic condition was not much better than China, yet India did not have a famine of the, let me turn the page, of that this was the result of different government policies in the two countries. The existence of democracy in India made the Indian government respond to food security in a way that the Chinese government did not. We see in this example that two countries, China and India, has tackled this famine very differently. One with democratic attitude, and the other one, China, has non-democratic attitude, which led that country to a great loss of people. So democracy should lead to better decision than any non-democratic government. Democracy is based on consultation and discussions. Democratic decisions always involve many persons, discussions, and meetings where a number of people put their hands together. They are able to point out possible mistakes in any decision. This takes time, but there is a big advantage in taking time over important decisions. Okay, so here it is not a one person who decides all the things, but a group of people, or it may take some time, but it assures that it will be a good decision for all the people. And next, thus democracy improves the quality of decision making. Okay, so moving ahead, democracy provides a method to deal with differences and conflicts. And here again, the conflict can be solved by brutal power, where we see China with non-democratic attitude. It cannot, it could not tackle its problem very effectively. But India, on the other hand, with the same economic condition, has tackled its problem very nicely. So which group is more powerful will dictate its term, and other will have to accept that, but that would lead to resentment and unhappiness. So different groups may not be able to live together for long in such a way. Democracy provides the only peaceful solution to this problem. These three arguments were about the effects of democracy on the quality of government and social life. So even if democracy doesn't bring about better decision and accountable government, it is still better than the forms of government. In other, democracy enhances the dignity of citizens. As we discussed above, democracy is based on the principle of political equality. So finally, we can see that democracy is better than other forms of government because it allows us to correct its own mistakes. That's a very important feature. And there is a space for public discussion on these mistakes. That's another important feature. And again, we can say, let's sum up, democracy cannot get us everything and is not the solution to all problem, but it's clearly better than any other alternative than we know. So above we saw some features, some merits and demerits of democracy. Now we'll try to learn a broader meaning of democracy. Okay, so we have clearly learned about this in the previous classes. In the countries we call democracy, all the people do not rule. A majority is allowed to take decision on behalf of all the people. Okay, and the majority people rule through their elected representative. This becomes necessary because modern democracies involve such a large number of people that it's physically impossible for them to sit together and take a collective decision. Like you elect your politician to go in parliament or in state assemblies. You are not going to make policies for yourself, but they will. Okay, even if they could, the citizen does not have the time, the desire, or the skill to take part in all the decision, because you don't know how to make policies for all or for the area concerned. So it's better to elect someone to make policy for them. So here the chapter ends, and we learned what is the real democracy and why it is important, and we saw so many examples related to this democracy and other conditions. I hope you liked my video. Just press like button, subscribe, and share this video. Thank you so much.